Hi everyone, welcome to, hold on a second. Hi everyone, welcome to the Fall 2 2020 AB 583 Study Abroad Info Session for Dubai. My name is Dr. Susan Flynn. I'm the Department Chair for the Applied Behavior Analysis online department at our online campus, and I'm also the instructor for this course. Also, we have Cindy Joe, who will be talking about logistics of the study abroad after I finish my presentation on the actual academic piece of the course. So the course description for this course is that students will have the opportunity to learn various methods of providing consultation and training to families and professionals of individuals with disabilities and or other diagnoses within the cultural context of Dubai and our own communities in the US. We will analyze behavior analytic assessments and interventions, consider professional ethics, and demonstrate increased cultural competency or humility. While in Dubai, students will visit varied communities, meet with individuals with disabilities and other diagnoses, meet and collaborate with professionals, explore current practices in treating individuals with disabilities and other diagnoses, and experience Dubai's rich history and ancient traditions through a variety of cultural events. So the general course timeline it's really split up into two phases. The first phase is where you will participate in the online course. And as I said, it begins Fall 2, so that if you're with an on-ground campus, the online campus splits up the semester basically into two terms. So for example, Fall 1 and Fall 2. This course begins in Fall 2. And the approximate dates are October 26th is the course start date for Fall 2 term. And the online portion runs from October 26th to December 6th. The class does not have required meetings. Meetings are optional. I will say, when I ran the course last time, I did offer an optional meeting before we departed for Dubai, just to kind of go over some logistics and any kind of necessary items that were important to know before we left. The course is held asynchronously via Canvas, as I said previously. Phase 2 of the course encompasses actually the the in-country learning experience in Dubai. And so the dates for the in-country learning experiences from December 7th through December 17th. And I just have to say that's a very lovely time of year to go to Dubai. If you haven't been out there or in the Middle East in that general area, in the summer it can get quite hot and almost unbearable, where you don't really see a whole lot of people outside. And so pick these dates in particular to go to Dubai, because it's very, very nice, a lot of activity going on, and it's just really lovely. I will say just an interesting tidbit. When I took the course there last December, they had an abnormal amount of rain there. They said locals were telling me that it hardly rains there, and when it does, everything kind of shuts down because their streets aren't ready for that. You know, for example, here, I live in the south and on the coast, and so it's very humid, you know, have lots of rain, winter, summer, whenever. And so we're ready. We have drains, you know, by the streets. They had none of that. So streets were flooding, people were staying home, not going to work. And so it's very interesting. We actually had to reschedule one of our visits because of it, but it worked out very well. But yeah, just an interesting little tidbit there. Okay, cost. Tuition fees for 3 credits, so it's a 3-credit course. The student abroad program fee is $2,488. I'm actually very happy about that. That cost, I think last time it was around $400 or $500 more than that, the program fee. So we were able to reduce that fee this time, which is great. And this fee includes things like the hotel accommodations, which oftentimes will provide breakfast every morning, ground transportation to and from site visits from the hotel, taxes. We'll have a welcome dinner on the first day when you arrive. Lunch on typically will be on days 2 and 8, and then entrance fees for tours. So that fee includes that. The fee does not include airfare. which for me is approximately $1,700. But just to let you know, that's for round trip. To let you know, actually I think my ticket came out to a little bit less than that. That was approximate. I think mine came out to around 1,500. You may be able to, if you live close to a bigger city, you might be able to get it even a little bit cheaper than that. I don't. Going anywhere is pretty expensive. I mean, it cost me $300 to go to Charlotte from where I am, and that's a 30-minute flight. So, so it really depends on where you live. Okay, so course topics for the course include introduction, preparation for travel, ethics and applied behavior analysis, soft skills in Dubai and the US, a comparative analysis, disability in Dubai, diagnosis and rehabilitation, autism spectrum disorder, mental illness and treatment, consultation and training in applied behavior analysis. So those are the main topics for the course. Now, assignments can be broken up into two categories. You have your assignments that are due before the trip, that have to be completed before the trip. And then you have your assignments during the trip, and I believe one or two of those might spill over until right when you return. My students basically last December were able to complete it while there. You know, so for example, after a long day, you know, just wanted to, you know, relax a little bit at night. Some students were able to get some of their work done while they were in their hotel. So anyway, before the trip, typical assignments will include discussion forums where you're posting an initial post and then you respond to other students' posts, and I jump in there and participate as well, and we go back and forth just discussing the concepts for that week. We also have an academic journal pair and share where you'll pair up with someone, and actually this kind of, and I alternate groups with this just because so everyone can get to know each other a little bit better, and then that helps out, you know, when we actually stay in country, because oftentimes you'll have a roommate for that time. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, the academic journal parent shares just on thoughts about the concepts learned that week. We also have a pre-departure orientation that you have to attend. There are readings, of course, weekly readings, a quiz, and a taking action writing assignment. That's pretty flexible depending on what your interest is and your field of study. During the trip, we have our in-country attendance and engagement. You'll be assessed on that. So are you attending all the events? Are you engaged? Are you being an active participant at the site visits? Professional comportment really boils down to how you handle yourself professionally, because you are representing not only yourself, not only the university, but our country. It's very important. Some examples of having good professional comportment is, you know, active listening and responding during planned site visits, being respectful of others' times. For example, if you're going on a guided tour, you're on time for everything. When people are picking us up in the morning to take us to site visits, you're down in the hotel lobby on time, if not a little bit early. Just being respectful of others' time. Also, we have a service learning project, and again, that kind of builds off their taking action writing assignment. So something that you're interested in doing after your visit to Dubai, what you would like to do to change or expand on the types of services that they provide there. And then finally, of course, the cultural tours and events. So those are the things that basically you're assessed on in the course. Before I go on to the actual site visits, does anyone have any questions? Okay, and of course we have.
I'm sorry, will we get a copy of this PowerPoint after?
Yes, I'm sorry, I muted, I think. Yes, Clara, you will. I'm recording the session, so you will receive a recording link and the presentation will be included.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Good question. Okay, so site visits. We're going to the portion of on-site visits, beginning with sightseeing Old Dubai. One of the site visits that we'll be doing is the Jumeirah Mosque. It's a mosque in Dubai. Construction began in 1976. It's built in traditional Fatimid style, which originated from Syria and Egypt. It opened in 1979, and the visit has been a key activity under the Open Doors, Open Minds initiative that they have there. Beautiful. Another site visit is the Bastakia and Al Fahidi Cultural Neighborhood. It dates back to the 1890s. In its prime, the locality was capable of supporting 60 housing units, most of which were separated by narrow, winding lanes. If you look to the right of the picture, you'll see there are lots of neat little shops where you can just neat things that you can buy and bargain on. Honestly, we could have spent hours there. It's really interesting. The Dubai Museum. It's the main museum in Dubai. It's located in the Al Fahidi Fort, built in 1787, and it's the oldest existing building in Dubai. The museum was opened by the ruler of Dubai in 1971 with the aim of presenting the traditional way of life in the Emirati of Dubai. Another visit is the Dubai Creek by Dow Boat. It's spice and textile souks. This was another really fun thing to do. You take the boat from one location to the neighborhood where they sell. They have all the spice and textile souks, lots of neat spices you can buy. I'm a big fan of dates, so I bought some dates from there and they were just great. So a lot of neat things to experience in there. But you take the boat across the saltwater creek. People take that daily, those boats to and from. They go to work on them, and is a main method of transportation for those who live close by. Also for tourism as well. Very, very fun. The Dubai frame, one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, and so interesting. I loved it. It's an architectural landmark in Zabil Park. It's just been described by the Guardian newspaper as the biggest picture frame on the planet. And you see each side of the frame. One side represents old Dubai, the other side represents new Dubai. So you go up the elevator, up that little skinny, narrow frame up to the very top. On the way, they'll have information about Old Dubai in that one side. You walk across and then you go back down the other side in the elevator for New Dubai, and it's just so interesting. The picture to the left is myself and my students at the very top of the frame. You can't really see from the picture, but if you look underneath our feet, it's actually clear. You can look down and see the very bottom, the ground from the very top. It's very, very cool. And it's very pretty when it's lit up at night. You see that picture where it's blue. It actually changes colors, so it's not blue every night. One of the academic planned site visits is the Psychology Center. It's an exclusive mental health outpatient facility serving individuals, couples, and families across the UAE, as well as throughout the wider Middle East region and beyond. Complementary to the specialized services for children with special needs, the Psychology Center offers comprehensive and holistic mental health services to people who struggle with various psychological disorders or problems in living. Dr. Dima Steelwell is who we met with, and she has so many interesting perspectives on the culture and how that plays into treatment of individuals there. It's just so interesting, and you would really enjoy learning more from her. Another academic site visit is the Carbone Clinic. It was originally founded by Dr. Vincent Carbone in New York City. The clinic in Dubai and in New York City provides autism treatment services for children. The clinic based in New York has been providing ABA services to people with autism-related disabilities for many, many years. And in October 2013, they opened up a center-based clinic in Dubai. Another planned site visit is the Dorstwan Young Autism Center, and it's a facility that offers counseling and behavioral support services from BCBAs, developmental psychologists, and counselors who provide on-site evaluations as well as therapy and medication management services. And their facility in Dubai provides a variety of interventions, utilizing ongoing relationships with other agencies in the community through the use of multidisciplinary team approach to meet the client's specific needs. Very interesting place, very up to date and using the most current practices. Really neat visit. Okay, sightseeing New Dubai. One of the planned site visits is the Burj Al Arab. It's a luxurious 5-star hotel located in the city. It's one of the tallest hotels in the world. It's the 7th tallest, although 39% of total height is made up of non-space that is not occupied or used. So basically they have empty space near the top. The Burj Al Arab stands on an artificial island, 280 meters or 920 feet from Jumeirah Beach, and is connected to the mainland by a private curving bridge. The shape of the structure, if you look at it, it's designed to resemble the sail of a ship. It has a helipad near the roof, very luxurious, at a height of 210 meters or 689 feet above ground. So if you feel like taking your private helicopter there and, and landing to go on into your hotel room, that's the place for you. Okay, Dubai has 2 main malls. One of these is a Mall of the Emiratis. It's a shopping mall, obviously, located in Dubai. It's developed and owned by Majid Al Futam Properties. It opened in November 2005 and is located in downtown Dubai. So if you like shopping, that's a nice place to go. Some more planned site visits include just touring downtown mall than the Mall of Emiratis. So like I said, they have 2 main malls, having a indoor skiing range, very interesting. We'll talk a little bit more in a second, but on the right, you'll see the fountain shows that light up at night. It's really beautiful. Okay, this is a just breathtaking building. I can't explain it just when you're in person and seeing it. It's called the Burj Khalifa. It was known as a Burj Dubai prior to its inauguration in 2010. It's a skyscraper with a total height of 829.8 meters and a roof height of 828 meters. It's been the tallest structure and building in the world since it topped out in 2009. It's beautiful. They have the fountain shows in front at night, and the building itself actually lights up. You see that picture down at the bottom, the blue lights. And I wish actually I could show a video, but there's a video I took while there where it shows the just sparkling lights, white lights blinking off and on all the way up and down the building. It's just amazing. It's beautiful. And you actually can go in there for a tour. You can go up to a certain level in the building if you're interested in doing that. And as I mentioned earlier, you have the famous fountain show. The Dubai Fountain is the world's largest musical fountain and the city's most popular free tourist attraction. It's set on the Burj Khalifa Lake in downtown Dubai between the Dubai Mall, Souk Al Baher, and the Burj Khalifa. As you notice, I've been saying the world's tallest, world's biggest. Dubai is very famous for that. Always building and outdoing themselves on what they're going to do next. When we were there last December, they were building the world's largest Ferris wheel. And I'll be honest with you, just looking at it, I was a little nervous about getting on that thing. I'm not really sure when it'll be open. I don't know if it'll be open in time for the visit in December, but certainly can see it. It's just amazing. This is one of my personal favorite cultural events to attend, was a Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding. It's a nonprofit organization which promotes awareness of Emirati culture, customs, tradition, and religion among expats and foreign visitors in the UAE, as well as aiming to remove cultural barriers. Took a really interesting tour, took a tour of the inside of that building, and actually we got to go into a mosque there adjacent, it's right behind it, and learned about the services there in Islam. It's really interesting. And then it ended with us having dinner. You see the picture on the right, that's traditional Emirati style dinner. Tons of just great food and just really an interesting experience. One of my favorite things about the whole trip. Now, although we say this is Dubai, the course, we do make a day trip out to Abu Dhabi, which is about an hour or so drive. And we visited the Teddy Bear Nursery, which is really a school for very young children. And it actually includes children with disabilities and children without disabilities and how they're included together. And it was established in 2008, and they have a very good reputation earned by taking the lead and providing quality early childhood education for the children of the UAE. A big expat population there. And Nipa, she is a third lady from the left. She is the owner and she runs the teddy bear nursery. And it's really interesting to hear perspectives and I guess the specific issues that are related to working with expat families, because as you probably know, expat families can move in and out and are not always stationed there for long term. So interesting take on how they provide services to children given that situation. And finally, in Abu Dhabi, the Grand Mosque. Breathtaking mosque. It's located in Abu Dhabi. It's the capital city, which is the capital city of the UAE. It's the largest mosque in the country. It's a key place of worship for daily Friday and Eid prayers. During Eid, it can be visited by more than 41,000 people. So it's quite large. It has a lot of room for Muslims to go to pray. For example, the mosque that I mentioned earlier near the Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding holds maybe 200 people at the most, whereas a Grand Mosque holds thousands and thousands. So you can imagine the size. It's a beautiful and really neat experience. Okay, Cindy will go over the specifics more, well, more specifically, but next steps will be basically applying and registration. Students must receive department approval. Okay, so depending on the home department, the course could potentially substitute an elective requirement. And so if you are outside the Department of Applied Behavior Analysis and you're interested in applying, you would need to also check with your department chair to see if this is possible. So you definitely want to do that, or your academic advisor. Of course, students must be in good academic standing and not be on an ADP at the start of the term. And as I mentioned earlier, class starts October 26th, and it begins with a pre-departure orientation. As I said earlier, Cindy will go into more details about all of that. Do you have any questions for me before I hand it over to Cindy?
Any questions like academic specific or the destination? Any question? You can unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, this is Jackie Barilli.
Hi, Jackie.
So my interests, you know, I understand that this is really very much focused on applied behavioral analysis. I am, on the other hand, in business psychology program, PhD program, and am interested in behavior from the perspective of behavioral economics. That is my focus. So I wanted to get a sense of how flexible any of these programs are, or whether, you know, a program like this could be viewed from, you know, what your thoughts are as far as that type of thing from a business psychology perspective.
Sure, and that's a very good question. And of course, if for you to, you know, attend something like this, a study abroad, you would need it to be relevant or useful for you in your field, for sure. So you're right. I mean, it does, the study abroad does focus on applied behavior analysis. But applied behavior analysis also spills over into other areas. It's not just strictly individuals with autism or mental health, although that is a focus here of the study abroad. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. But for example, you know, staff training, things like that, that is addressed in the study abroad, and actually a couple of our academic plan site visits talks a lot about that. Behavioral economics specifically, honestly, probably not not that much. I would say the closest to getting into business psychology they would get is looking at staff performance, you know, staff training, motivating staff. I hope that answers your question.
It does. The thing that came to mind when I saw this in particular was the idea of behavioral analysis. And, one of the things that I would like to do is incorporate goal setting into behavioral, into economic behavior. It's fundamental from the economic side. It doesn't appear to be as yet as explored in behavioral economics. So that's, that was sort of the angle that I had on it, but I didn't know if it would be considered a stretch or how difficult it might be to convince my department that is something that would be worthwhile to observe and to extract from this program.
Yeah, and so like I said, I mean, staff training and performance would be, analyzed in the study abroad trip for sure, because you're looking at all aspects. And like I said, a couple of the topics that relates to training and consultation, which certainly applies to that. And you could make it your own. I mean, like, for example, some of your projects or assignments, you definitely relate it to your own field and how that could be applicable. So what your department chair would probably ask for, I'm thinking, Jackie, would probably be the syllabus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can certainly go over that with your department chair and see.
Can I add a little bit to
Please,
that?
yes.
Yeah, echo that. Yes, Jackie, for this program, we, for all our study abroad programs, even though it's focused on, for example, clinical psych or ABA or forensic, we always have students from other departments, and the BP and IO organizational leadership students really participate in all of them.
Yes.
And because they feel like, even like a Japan program before, like it's focused on clinical psychology from different angles, but they feel like we have so many IO and BP students participated. It's simply that they feel like because we visited so many different organizations overseas, schools, clinic, individual that doing their own individual research in so many different places. So they feel that they can benefit from different ways. They ask questions of the speakers, ask the host different questions from their field of research. And they feel that they benefit so much to see how they operate the business in a different way, and how they work with their staff, and they just observe, how they talk with their staff. It's amazing that students feel that they benefit in a different way. So that might be another way that you can think of, and also share the syllabus, share the tentative itinerary with your department chair to say, hey, we are going to visit these places. This is how I feel that I'm going to benefit. And so what do you think? Like, if I can apply this towards my degree requirement? And then you always can work with Susan. I'm pretty sure Susan is open for that, to discuss with you, maybe to come up with some kind of alternative project, like capstone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, assignment to accommodate your need for your paper or your assignment.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing to that, the students I had last time were not all ABA students. We had some counseling students, we had clinical mental health, we had organizational psychology. I think we actually had a business psychology student apply, but then ended up just couldn't for personal reasons. But so yeah, it's not just ABA students.
Yeah. Does it help, Jackie?
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I'll check in with my department chair and share the syllabus with them and see if I can create a case for it.
And if you need my help, reach out. I'm sorry, Cindy.
Susan will be very happy to reach out to your department chair to give more clarification if needed. And you can see the link to the syllabus in the information session announcement. If you cannot find, it's all over our website, but let me know. I can send the link to you. Okay.
Will do. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You all can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let me do the slideshow. I try to see the camera stuff, but I can't. I don't know why.
Same here when I
Yeah,
did it.
I just don't know. I thought I'm very familiar with Zoom now, but obviously not.
Try to, if you, sorry, if you don't mind, if you try not having it on the whole screen, like reduce
That might be, huh?
that, it
Yeah,
does
that
weird
might
things.
be. That's okay. I will try later. I'm scared to touch anything right now. Okay, so now you know the program. I read, my part might be a little bit dry because always like general practice, how you should do this, what do you need to do. So I always tell Susan that I need her to spare a space in her luggage to bring me there. Again, back to Dubai. I went there a long time ago in early 2000, I think, as a tourist. It's amazing. And this palm tree community just started to build the second phase or something, if I remember correctly. If you really can go. And it's totally different world to us and to anyone, because we are more maybe familiar with Europe, Canada, Asia. We have heard so many, but this place has really opened our eyes to a totally different style of life, totally different. So I really hope that we can, have this trip going. So my part is I'm going to talk a little bit about what our study program is. If you have reviewed the information, which is great. If not, don't worry, I will just help you catch up with all these uniqueness of our study abroad program. So I summarize them into three. If you're familiar with the traditional study abroad programs offered by traditional universities, you might know that ours is totally different. So all our programs are faculty led. We have a faculty like Dr. Susan Flynn with every single program. And then all our programs are short term. It is like in terms of travel. And number three, financial aid available if you're eligible. So I will expand a little bit in the next few slides of each of these uniqueness. So number one, all our programs are created by our faculty like Dr. Flynn. It's our own products, our organic TCSPP products and made in-house. That's what I like to put it. It's current, it's really related to these faculties' research and the study and related to the current event and the issues. Even though like Dr. Susan Flynn is offering this the second time, and some faculty already offer their program fourth time, fifth time, they keep revising it based on the development of current event and issues related to the topic. So it's really good that we keep students up to date. And also it's developed at the graduate level. Even though now we start to have a BA students with PP, but we haven't had a program really focused at that level. All our programs are focused on master and doctor level. Even though this might be a master program, but if you're a doctor student, don't worry. So then always can work with you to have an extra capstone project for you. So make sure that you can apply this towards your degree requirement. All the programs are 3 credits. Unless we specify, we had like a couple of programs before with 2 credits, but we found out that it's so hard for students to apply toward their electives because most of our courses are 3 credits. So we kind of encourage our faculty to make sure that they propose a 3 credit hour course. So this course definitely is 3 credits. So it's faculty will be with you from the beginning to the end of your travel. So that's very unique that you have a guided international experience instead of as a tourist to explore yourself. Second is this picture is a little bit blurred, so then I need a new one. All our study abroad programs are short term, means in terms of travel. We have a consideration of our students' population. They are, most of them are professionals, they have work, and some of them have family. Some of them even have kids. It's very hard for them to leave everything behind for so long, like a traditional study abroad programs, like 6 months or 1 year. So our programs are very unique that you take the course on ground or online, depends on what program. Like this is an online program, right? Is you take this as any other courses you're taking at TCSPP, like a semester long, either 8 weeks or 12 weeks, depends. And then you travel during the school break. Only maximum 10 to 15 days, depends on which destination, which program you're participating in. Maximum 15 days. So we feel like this way our students are easier to cope with, to work with their family, work with their kids arrangement, and work with their employer. And if like students have a practical internship, they always work with the employer to make up their hours after they return. Most employers are very supportive once they know that this program definitely can benefit a professional development and contribute back to your employer. So for on-ground students, the travel is always happen after, the last day of instruction. So it won't conflict with any of your on-ground courses for sure. For online students, it might kind of overlap with a little bit towards the end of your course, but we assume that you're going to have access to your course materials from anywhere as long as there's the internet. Just that you have to work hard, or maybe sometimes you need to get in just when others are ready for bed, you might need to get in to see if you're missing any assignment or discussion post. So you need to work harder maybe. So the third is financial aid is available if you're eligible. So meaning that if this is not your departmental course, you need to fill out the course substitution form, share with your department chair, along with, like we talked with Jackie, along with the syllabus. So they will review, make sure that you can use it to apply towards one of your electives or diversity course. Each department has its own policy, so make sure you do this as soon as possible so you know whether you're eligible to apply this course towards your degree requirement. Hence, so therefore you're eligible for your financial aid. This comes to the second bullet point, that we don't have a special policy. We follow the general financial aid policy of PP. So you might be more familiar than I do, because I only know the very basic things, that in order to be eligible for financial aid and the supplemental aid to support your travel, this course must be, you must be eligible to apply this course towards your degree requirement. That's one basic criteria that I understand. So talk with your aid advisor immediately and connect with your department chair with that form, with the syllabus, to make sure that you know this ahead of time. And also discuss with your aid advisor, because if you're eligible, this definitely will impact your aggregate loan limit. So just make sure you know what your package looks like. Okay. So that's the three uniqueness. I will definitely watch out for my time and leave some time for you to ask questions later on. So the application process is very easy. One thing to keep in mind is, regardless of whether you're online students or on-ground students, or you're taking this course in turn 2 online, we follow on-ground or online term 1 calendar for administrative process. Simply, like for example, this is term 2 course, you won't start until October, and you're traveling in December. It's too late for us to prepare you and prepare our faculty, prepare our local contractor supporter to get you ready for this travel. So we use on-ground and online term 1 for administrative purpose. By saying that, every program has a run decision deadline, which means by that date, this program must have 8 minimum enrollment in order to proceed. So again, we're using on-ground online term 1 calendar for fall 2020. That date is going to be August 28th, before the semester starts. So by that date, we need to have 8. I'm very excited. I already received 2 applications. So hurry up if after the session you feel that this is your program. This definitely will benefit you. Submit your application, get your seat secured as soon as you can. So if we can proceed, we have 8 enrollment by that date. The program application is going to continue until Friday of week 1. Again, on-ground and online term 1 calendar, that would be September 4th for 2020. Application is electronic. The link is all over the place as I send email and reminder, info session announcement. you cannot find it, please let me know. And of course, substitution petition form is also embedded in the application form. So you can just download and fill it out as soon as you can. One thing to keep in mind that even though you're not eligible to apply this course towards your degree requirement, it doesn't have an impact on your eligibility to participate in the study abroad program. We have many students, believe or not, they pay everything out of their own pocket. Tuition, program fee, airfare, every single thing out of their pocket, just to have this international experience because they think they definitely can benefit. So just to make sure that you do this as soon as you can, so you know what your financial situation is going to be. So your plan, you can plan ahead. Eligibility review, very transparent. Once we receive your application, my office is going to review your academic performance. We require minimum GPA, cumulative GPA at 3.0. Once in a while, we will have a couple of, I think I had only a couple of students whose GPA is a little bit below, but we will talk with the department chair and the faculty lead of the program to see whether this program is going to help you to catch up, help you to have professional connections with the other with the cohort to benefit your academic progress. That will take case by case. We will make sure that you don't have an academic and a financial hold with TCSPP. If you have one when you apply, that's okay. Don't worry. We give you time to work with your advisor. Sometimes it's very minor holds that my VPN is reconnecting. Sorry. Sometimes you forgot about the criminal background check during your admission stage and totally forgot about that. So there's a hold on your record. We don't see the detail of the hold, but I know that there is a hold there. So just remind you to work with your advisor to get released before we can register you. School status during fall 2020 must be active. You cannot be like a student at large or graduation pending. It's simply because we don't have administrative capacity and we cannot support students like at large or alumni. We have so many inquiries from them. So hopefully one of these days we can do that. And also you don't have pending SEC hearing with TCSPP. So it's very transparent. When you apply, you know whether you're eligible or not, or you know whether you have something you need to work on. Registration occurs after your final qualification is determined, after you either after the faculty review your essay or interview. So this program is an interview, so you don't need to do anything after submit application. Susan is going to reach out to interview you. And we will register you after your final qualification is determined, and we will send you a confirmation with next steps. So don't worry about the registering yourself. You can't. We set up the capacity in the system. You won't be able to register yourself. Okay, why you don't move? All right. So tuition and program fee, this is very important. Everyone has this thing in mind when you apply for study abroad. So once you're registered, you're going to be responsible for tuition, program fee, airfare, and other miscellaneous like a passport, or you need to renew your passport, or a visa if you're an international student. For this program, American citizens don't need a visa to Dubai, which is very nice. And also some special immunizations, vaccines your doctor recommend. There's no mandatory, but based on your personal health condition, your doctor might recommend something that when you travel long distance, or like for example, travel insurance with your airline these days. You want to protect the high investment, expensive investment, or like a cell phone international call activation. We require all students to have that for emergency purpose. So those things are the miscellaneous that you're going to be responsible for. So what are they? Tuition, 3 credit hours, nothing special, just like any rate at any rate that you pay to for other courses. Program fee, like Susan mentioned, is $2,488.13, very precise. So what that includes, that's always asked by students. It includes local lodging during your travel and some local transportation and some meals. Some program including a one-time airport pickup, some including one-time send-off of some including shuttle services to all places we visit. So not all transportations are included, but some definitely. And it's includes all the events, activities, visits, including cultural excursions, anything that you can see on the itinerary will be covered. And also including supplemental travel health insurance, including emergency and evacuation only. Okay, I will talk a little bit about that later on. I'm rushing up for my time. And you don't have to pay anything in advance. Once we register you, you will see on your student account, you will see one for tuition and one for international fee or program fee, depends who set up that. The terminology might be a little bit different. And you pay when you pay your tuition, so nothing in advance. Keep one thing in mind, that the program fee, the $2,400, close to $2,500, is not going to be refundable after September 6th, which is the last day of add-drop of on-ground or online term 1 calendar. After that date, Susan and I are going to pay our vendors and to secure your experience in country. Okay. All right, so supplemental financial aid, I want to talk a little bit about that. Is if you're eligible, like I talked about the financial aid and your eligibility, if you're eligible for your financial aid, I'm 100% sure, 99.9% sure you're going to be eligible for this supplemental financial aid, unless that your aid package is full, and then talk with your aid advisor, see what kind of options they have for you. Don't say no to yourself, okay? So if you're eligible, the regular financial aid will cover your 3 credit tuition like any other courses you're taking. The supplemental aid is going to cover 100% of this close to $2,500 program fee, and it will cover up to $2,000 for your airfare. I'm pretty sure that will fly you all over the places. I mean, definitely fly you to Dubai and come back. And also there's a maximum $700 to cover other miscellaneous I mentioned, passport, visa if you're an international student, or special immunizations, travel insurance with the airline, cell phone activation for international calls. So those miscellaneous, anything bring you on board, that will be covered within this $700 max. All right, so the supplemental insurance, I know some of you might be very interested now and start to plan. This is good to know ahead of time when you plan for this program. The supplemental health insurance covered by your program fee doesn't replace your standard health insurance. I assume everyone has one. It only covers the emergency and the evacuation. Okay, to help you plan for the financial funding or resources, it's kind of a out-of-pocket style that you spend and then you keep all the documentation, come back and you get reimbursed by the insurance company. So far, only a few faculty and staff students used, and they all have very good review about this vendor. I look forward to hearing from you, but I also hope that you don't use it. So they got their reimbursement like within 2-3 weeks, very quick, as long as you have all the documentation. They have a lot of good emergency assistance, flight upgrade if you hurt your ankle when you are in country and you have a pretty good documentation, and contact them in advance. So those kind of services. And the one thing very good to know is the deviation coverage, meaning like Susan already mentioned and I already mentioned, very exciting country. If you want to go earlier to explore the country a little bit more with a couple of your cohort, or you want to stay after the program, stay longer. So it's good to know that this insurance automatically covers 7 days prior to your travel and 7 days after the final day, last date of your program. It covers only Dubai, UAE, okay? If you say, I want to go to Kuwait, it's so nearby, right? Or some other countries in the region, unfortunately, those other countries won't be covered. Just keep those things in mind when you plan, okay? ADA special requirement, and this program is about disability consultation in Dubai. But ADA support is always, we will always want to hear from you as soon as possible, even when you apply for the program. You say, Cindy, this is what I have. Do you think it can be accommodated in Dubai? Let us know immediately. Because if you have some conditions, you have a special accommodation arranged with PP, you know it takes them a long time to accommodate you. But so you can imagine that when we work with a government with different accommodation policy, with different capacity, we need to know as soon as possible so we can work with our partners in country to make sure that you can be accommodated, or we can give you enough time to work on alternatives. If you are going to bring a lot of prescriptions, for example, these countries like the UAE and some countries have a very restricted policy on certain prescription drugs that we're using. So just make sure you let us know so we can give you a direction how to check this legality, in Dubai. Our insurance vendor can help you with that for sure. So let us know anything that you're not sure. We are very happy to help you. Okay. Everything I talked about is on the student gateway. So we're under international. I'm pretty sure you're a good friend with your gateway. We're under international. Once you click on that, this page will pop up and follow the navigation on the left, click study abroad. Everything is here. The program information about Dubai, study abroad syllabus, and it's in the alphabet order of country name. So it's UAE on the bottom of the list. Click on that, and you can share the syllabus with your department. And also, is itinerary is all included in the syllabus. So make sure you can show that or look at the itinerary, see what is included, everything. Okay. That's all from me. I just want to leave the slides up to let you know that the Department of State, one of the divisions under Department of State, IIE, did some service with employers with study abroad participants recently. They just found out that employers are really looking for some skills that only students who have international learning experience will equip those skills or have a better skills in that nature. And it's really aligned with what we found out from our students, previous participants, that they said, Cindy, I just got hired on the spot after the interview, literally. They didn't ask me the traditional interview questions I prepared so well. They asked me about, pretty much spent the whole hour asking me about my experience in the country, in Israel, in Peru, in South Africa. Obviously, they're really interested in what I have learned in those countries. So it's really helping our students to equip those skills that right now have higher, what they call that, the new terms, like they call that employability. So if you're interested in this research, let me know. I'm very happy to share with you. Okay. All right, that's all from me. I'm only a couple minutes. Any questions? I will share this recording and slides with you. Any questions for now?
Yes, Dr. Chu, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, currently we're under the stress of COVID-19. Will that be an issue? Hopefully not in October through December when prospective students try to travel abroad.
Yeah, I know. I meant to mention this in the beginning. I know this has been in everyone's mind, these days. But I thought I might kind of run out of time. Feel free to log off if you have other obligations. Just want to make sure if I'm fine for another half an hour. So yes, there is a risk management committee. They are meeting. I'm not in there because they always say that I'm too biased because I'm so engaged in study abroad programs. So they meet every week to assess the situation. So as of now, all the fall programs are proceeding. So they monitor the involvement. Right now, it's so hard to predict, what is going to happen next day, next month, next week, and next month. So they just assess the situation every week. They meet every week and they let us know that when they're going to make a final decision. So right now, as of now, the programs for fall are going. We have 5 programs. So we will keep everyone posted. Hopefully like towards later summer, maybe sometimes in late June or July, they might kind of make their final decision, because we don't want them to make the decision too late. So our students can register for other courses if you're relying on this one to be full-time enrolled, or students are graduating in the semester that they need to do something else. So hopefully we're going to hear the final decision maybe early July or middle of July. Yeah, but right now it's proceeding.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
No
done.
problem.
Because I got another engagement that I got to go to start off in about a half an hour. But
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I wanted to know. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And any question, you know how to reach out to me, to Dr. Flynn. And also, if you don't remember the email address, simply email to studyabroad@chicagoschool.edu. Definitely we'll get back to you. And we'll share this. We'll post this recording on our website as well. And if you need a recording, email me a reminder so I have your email address and so I can just send it to you. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great weekend and stay healthy. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.